So, all right. So Chanel, if you can let everyone in, and I'll make all the other council members co-hosts.
Okay.
Just one moment. I think all the council members now are co-hosts. Okay.
Didn't want to come today. One wrong question and we're all crying about Lily. I told Vernon I wasn't ready to go.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Sorry for the delay. Hi, my name is Benjamin Morden. I'm President of Community Education Council for District 2. Welcome to our committee meeting, our zoning and capital planning committee meeting. Unfortunately, we were originally scheduled for a September calendar meeting of the Community Education Council. And we were also scheduled for a working business meeting, but the governor decided not to renew the emergency executive order 11, which would have allowed us to have a remote only meeting. Meetings now have to be either in person or a hybrid version of in person and remote, which is actually very technically challenging. We're hoping to strive for that in the future, but given that the executive order was not renewed yesterday, it had been renewed for over 2 years running, and we did not have any knowledge ahead of time that we were going to that it wasn't going to be renewed. So that's why we had the meeting originally scheduled for today. Had we known that it was going to be was not going to be renewed, we would have had our calendar meeting and a working business meeting at a time and date that would have been accommodating for remote access, because we found that our community is more likely to show up to our meetings when they are remote. So I apologize for the inconvenience that some of you are attending today, expecting a calendar meeting. The purpose of our committee meeting today is to determine the next calendar meeting and the next working business meeting for the Community Education Council. Sorry for that long-winded explanation, but it is what it is. And all right, I would like to ask our Community Education Council administrative assistant if she could take roll call. This meeting is not a requirement for council members, but we are taking notes. It's a public meeting, and we are going to take notes of who attended this meeting. Thank you. Okay. Chanel.
Robin Broshi.
Here.
Kaushik Das. Kaushik Das. I think he's here.
I see him here. He may have issues on muting because he's.
Oh, he raised his hand.
Okay.
Daniela Igorov.
Yeah, she's raising her hand. Oh, and let me make her co-host. Yep.
Lupe Hernandez.
Here.
Robin Kelleher.
Here.
Chen Kwok.
He's here on the screen
Aye. Benjamin Morden,
here.
Ushma Neal,
Here.
Leonard Silverman,
Here.
Lim Fong Sim,
Here.
Lily. I don't see Lily. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Chanel. Well, we have a quorum to also decide the meeting for our next calendar meeting. Okay, Chanel, if you've done the research for availability for a council meeting at 333 7th Avenue on the 7th floor conference room, where District 2 has its offices.
Yeah.
If you
The
could share
only
the dates.
availability is the 21st and the 23rd. That's if it has to be during the day. If it's anytime in the evenings, it can be any day.
Okay,
After 4, it can be any day.
all right. So since this is a September meeting, so I'm hoping we can have it in the next 2 weeks, excuse me, in the next 2 weeks. But we need to, please note that we need to give 72 hours notice unless we call for a special meeting. And then I think we can give 48 hours notice. Lupe, you have your hand raised? Yes.
Is it possible to allow, is it 2 weeks from now to get the interpreters?
Yes.
So allow for at least, so that she can put the paperwork in for us to get interpreters. One of the schools I liaison for has really encouraged for us to be able to accommodate their community. And so in order for this change, for us to be able to have an interpreter at our meeting, I think we would need at least 2 weeks.
Right. Well, there are 2 issues or 3 issues with that. One, I had heard that you had reached out to Chanel about getting an interpreter, and so it was impossible to get it for today's council meeting. Had we had a calendar meeting, just because of the 2-week time frame. There could be a possibility this month, but we're running into a number of holidays. There's Jewish holidays, I believe, on 26th and 27th.
Yeah.
If I'm correct, so that wouldn't be an appropriate day to have any council meeting. We can't have it this week just because it's almost impossible to have give notice unless we did a special meeting. Then we can maybe give notice for Friday. So that leaves us a full week next week and some days the following week. I guess to look at my calendar, but I understand that. I think going forward, I absolutely want to ensure that we have interpreters for I believe you asked for American Sign Language interpreter and a Spanish interpreter, and in addition to the Mandarin interpreters that we've had in the previous meetings. So I think we can ensure. Well, we will ask for that for going forward for the October meetings, but for the September meetings, it's really important that we have one. So are there any thoughts about dates that council members would like to, aside from that? Yes, I see Kush's hand up. Let me make sure you're a co-host. So. All right. Let me see if can you unmute yourself, Kush? All right. Well, Len, can you speak? Your hand is raised.
Yeah, sure. How about next Wednesday, the 21st?
Okay.
That's
Are you?
The PEP.
Yeah, that's the PEP meeting. Yeah. So that's
How about the
that could be
22nd?
So the 22nd is what? That's a Thursday. And
Oh, wait, does she say? Oh, I see. Yeah, but it doesn't have to be 10 days. We don't have to get 10 days notice, do we?
no, we need only for interpreters.
Yeah.
That's an issue.
Yeah, I just, yeah.
Yeah, but we run into a problem where there are only 3 days the following week and an unlimited amount of days next week. And what are the days that we could have it during the week? Chanel, that was the 21st, you said, and the 23rd?
Yep. Yep, and the 23rd. If it's the 23rd, I think I can call for the interpreters to see if I can get them for that day. If I call tomorrow,
Okay.
I'll
they
try my best, but I'm
sometimes-
not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes they accommodate within like a week. Yep.
But
I
if
mean,
it's like the
just around-
23rd, I think it might work. Yeah.
Daniela, yes?
I'm just curious, is there a reason why we cannot have a meeting on the same night of the PEP? Is there anybody here who serves at the PEP?
It's
No,
true.
but I attend the PEPs and I do testimony. There's a few contracts on there that I will be speaking on behalf of our community.
I prefer not to have dates that coincide with other important meetings. But yeah, in theory, we could. We could also, in theory, have a meeting during the day. Normally, I would not like to have a meeting during school hours for a number of reasons, because I don't think many parents will attend. But I think in order to ensure that we have a quorum of full attendance for a calendar meeting, there are a lot of issues, and there was a presenter, I believe Iris Gersten, hopefully I pronounced it right. She was supposed to present. I think having it in person for this month during the day would not be out of the question. But starting with October, again, we would try to be as accommodating as possible. All right. Does anybody else have? We could. Any suggestions? So, Danielle, you were voting for next Wednesday. Is that what you wanted to?
Yes, I think that would be great because it gives us a week to get ready and yeah.
All right. And Len, what dates were working for you? You wanted Wednesday as well?
Yeah, I
or?
thought the Wednesday's not bad. I mean, I understand about the PEP meeting, but those meetings also run like 8 hours long. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe you could
It's
still
in
speak.
person. I don't think that it will run.
I know,
It's
but
only running till
all
10
I'm saying is there's always so many different meetings every night of the week. I got to prioritize, District 2. It's like, and I'm not saying you're not doing that. I'm just saying there's only so many days to choose from. It's very difficult. So
You're
And
also splitting our community that may be deciding to be able to go to both a district meeting and a PEP.
Robin Kelleher, yes.
Yep, I vote for the Wednesday, the 22nd, and I'm sorry, Lupe, if it conflicts, it conflicts. We'll have to vote on this. It is what it is. I have conflicting stuff every night. I have 3 kids. I get it. And we all liaison for different schools and we all have different meetings we want to attend. And that's just how it is when you sign up for lots of things. So I suggest Wednesday.
Are you suggesting which time Wednesday? After like our regular time, 6:30, or during the day?
I prefer 6:30.
Okay. And how about Daniela? Yes.
No, I vote 6:30 just because I think it's easier for our parents to
Okay.
join.
All right. Kush, can you unmute yourself or? You are a co-host. If you want to put something in the chat, you could type something in it. All right. All right. So I'll move on. Ushma, yes, you have your hand raised.
I already had professional and school engagements on both of these nights, but the only one that I could cancel would be on Wednesday, the 21st. And I would still have to arrive late because we're all double booked. As Robin was saying, we all have kids in schools and new meetings coming up, etc. I've got professional stuff that I cannot break on Thursday, the 22nd. So if you want me there, it's got to be
Okay.
Some of you might not want me there. So
no, we want everybody there. It's,
I take
want
exception
to
to
be
Ushma's comment.
yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Come on, Ushma.
Yeah.
Take a joke. All right.
Okay. Chanel, I believe Lily just joined us. I have to make her co-host. Bear with me one moment.
So far everyone's for 6:30, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we
And-
not taking any other options at this point? I
And
mean, was-
Kaushik just said he can't unmute for some reason. Maybe he could he could leave and rejoin or something. Kush, if you hear that, maybe you could try that because I know Ben said he's made you a co-host.
Yeah, he's a co-host. There's no super co-host.
I even pushed the button
Permissioning.
that said ask to unmute. Like I tried. I don't know.
Yeah,
which one.
Yeah.
Maybe pull over the car and focus.
Safely pull over the car. Again, I know there are many people in our audience here. Today, we don't have our regular public calendar meeting and our working business meeting for Community Education Council District 2. It's unfortunate that the governor did not give us warning beforehand. We could maybe held this meeting a day earlier. We just found out notice yesterday that we could not hold a remote public meeting. So this meeting is being recorded and is being streamed. It's a committee meeting. After we're done with our council business in terms of determining our future meeting for September, if there are parents that want to stay, I will stay on to listen to them. Council members are not required to. But okay, so I'd like to hear from any other council members if they have some alternate dates or times. Because right now we have 3 council members who've asked for Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. on the 22nd?
And does Wednesday, the 28th work? Or Thursday, the 29th?
Not for me.
Yeah, I have earlier in the day a community board 6 meeting. I don't know. Kaushik Das, can you unmute yourself? I'm asking you.
Then he says that the host has muted him. So you have to unmute him. Yeah.
How did I mute him? All right, I'm going to remove his co-host and then I'm going to bring it back. Let's see. The old reboot the Windows trick.
He's also on a phone, so it's probably
Yeah,
different.
you're a co-host. I ask you to unmute. All right, you got to figure this out, Kush. All right. All right. Any other comments? Oh, Lily. Do we have Chanel? Do we have we don't have a Mandarin translator here, do we?
No, I had canceled it for the
Yeah.
What?
Janie, can you speak with Lily just to let her know if you can ask her what's her preferred day?
Sure.
Jenny，我有听到，你请说。
OK， 他就问你我们以后的开会对你最方便是哪一天 ？I think他们说we were talking about Wednesday the 21st, so 21号6点半 but what are the other choices?
Well, Wednesday the 21st. We also have during the day on the 23rd.
白天那个23号 so 6点半21号白天23号 and then those are the 2 choices.
And I guess the only other open possibility, well, Lupe was hoping for Wednesday the 28th, and I guess Thursday the 29th could also be a possibility.
还有in the evenings, both of them?
Yeah.
要么28号晚上6点半，要么29号晚上6点半。I read all the dates to her. I conveyed all the dates.
Okay.
21号晚上6点半可以。
Okay, she said the 21st at 6:30 is the best.
Okay, so how many we have now? 1, 2, Len, Danielle, 3, and Robin is 5. All right, I can be 6, and Ushma, you're okay with Wednesday the 21st, is that correct?
Yes, I will probably arrive about 15 minutes late, but
Yeah, that should be fine. And can you ask Iris for that date to join us?
I sure can ask.
It
if she
would be
can't
in
make it.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will ask. She noted, just for the record, that the head of SGH in the city has recently resigned as well. So if we want someone, it's her.
Oh, wow.
So if she can't make it, then there's no backup, but I will try.
Okay. All right. And please let me know, because maybe if she can't attend, maybe we have a committee meeting. We'll provide her with
I'll send the email.
we could
right
do it
now.
over remotely if it doesn't work.
I'll send
But
her an email
I
right
think
now.
it would be useful to have her speak to the council. And she has a presentation that we can share publicly as well. Kush, you've joined us. Please.
Yes.
Please
Sorry about that.
speak.
The it wasn't letting me unmute before, but you can hear me now, right?
Yeah.
What was I going to say? I'm a little confused with the date. Somebody said Wednesday the 21st, but somebody said Wednesday the 22nd.
Wednesday the 21st, excuse me.
Wednesday the 21st.
Yeah, it was my bad.
Sorry. I could do Tuesday and Wednesday. I cannot do Thursday.
Okay. Well, we have a quorum now for Wednesday the 21st, the evening of 6:30 p.m. at 7th Avenue, 333 7th floor. For our community watching there, you're welcome to come. It's a public meeting. We just have to, Chanel would have to get the permits for that day. And Danielle, you have your hand raised too. So.
Yes, exactly about that. The community wants to attend, and I just got a few messages. Is that building a place where only vaccinated parents for COVID can enter, or can unvaccinated parents also attend the meeting?
Chanel, do you have, or Jennifer, do you have an answer
Jennifer?
for that?
I know they couldn't if it was a school building. I'm not sure about 333. We'd have to check it out.
I've never been asked entering the building, my vaccination status there. So I could be wrong, but I don't think it's a requirement to enter that building. But I don't know about the 7th floor as well. That might have their own policy there.
Depends if, I think there's a safety agent there.
Okay.
But we could check it out.
Yeah, and if there is, regardless whether there is a requirement or there isn't one, we can find out and put it in our email notice to the community. It's something that I have no control over. So, but we can certainly find that out. Thank you for that's a great question. All right.
Sure,
Any
you
other
asked-
council members want to?
Robin Broshi has been silent.
Did she have her hand raised? She's, I think, a co-host.
Thank you, Ishma. I'm fine. I don't need to contribute to this conversation.
All right. So let's do by show of hands. Can we get a vote on the actual a motion? I make a motion to have our calendar meeting, our September calendar meeting, and our working business meeting on Wednesday, September 21st at 6:30 p.m. at the 333 7th Avenue, 7th floor conference room.
I second the motion.
All hands. We.
I don't think we can make motions during the
Okay.
meeting.
And any nays? And any abstains? Okay, so we have a meeting for September. And obviously contingent upon us getting a permit, and so we'll follow up with that tomorrow. Specifically, Chanel, please thank you if you could follow up with that and let the council members. If you can also find out what the vaccination requirements are for the building as well.
Okay, I'll send an email out tomorrow afternoon.
Great. All right. Council members, you do not have to stay at this meeting, but if I see there's some in our community who are still here, a handful at least, if they want to speak, this is a committee meeting, we can, they're welcome to share their thoughts. If I'm not going to use a timer, but if you raise your hand and you want to speak for a few minutes, I'm listening. So, and because I actually absolutely feel horrible that we're not having a proper council meeting today. It was beyond our ability to control. So, all right, I see one hand raised. Nadia Levy.
Can I add one thing before she starts?
One thing. All right, council member. Yes. Yeah.
Can I go even further than that? I think if anyone came expecting to speak, I beyond what Ben said, I actually would very much like to hear what they say. Even if you choose to repeat yourself at a later meeting, but if you cannot live, this may be your last remote chance to do so. Speak on behalf of a resolution. I don't know it'll come up in any other way. So if you're here and intended to speak, please indulge us and share your thoughts.
We can still have committee meetings. The DOE legal has given their blessing for that.
Understood, but the ability to speak on a resolution, the circumstance to speak on a resolution usually doesn't come up that way.
Yeah.
Listen, and there's a lot to say right now and a lot going on. So we welcome any voices and don't be shy about speaking up. You can repeat yourself as Kaushik said, and feel free to treat this however you want in terms of your time. This is your time.
And it's being recorded and it's being streamed. So it's visible to our community. All right. Thank you. So Nadia, please mute yourself and.
Thank you. I just wanted to speak towards the resolution pertaining to the migrants and the dual language program. Historically, we've been by the way, I'm part of the French dual language initiative in District 2. I work with Stefan Lautner, and we've been fighting for this for a very long time. And typically, we've been proponents specifically of our own French dual language program. But theoretically, we support all dual language programs, and it's not just our own. We just support dual language education. So that's why we are sort of on board with this particular resolution. We feel it's important that now that there is this influx of migrants that require Spanish dual language education, and we feel it's very important that the DOE focuses on that need. Now is, I think, a good time to reevaluate the entire dual language situation in the city. Spanish, obviously, in particular, our own French program as well, and Mandarin, which is another demographically significant population in District 2, but any other language beyond that as well. But I think that there's like an imminent need, a pressing need right now because of the situation and what's happening and this recent influx. And it's something that's been under prioritized for a very long time, and they should use this as an opportunity to focus on what many families in this city, many public school families feel is important.
Thank you, Nadia. I wish our superintendent was here because he could share some information. And he shared with me the other day that a number of the migrant students have been moved around to some other schools in our district where they're they will be accessing more Spanish throughout the day. I'm hoping he will be able to attend our meeting, our in-person meeting on the 21st, where he can further explain that. And I'm hoping that we can record, regardless, I'm hoping we can record that and stream that. But your points are well taken, and it's very important issues. Thank you. All right. Suko Brown, please unmute yourself, and your hand is raised.
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I am a parent who is unvaccinated, and I have a child who is medically advised not to be vaccinated. And I'm very concerned about the fact that now that Governor Hochul has withdrawn finally the state of emergency that our city has been under for over 2 years, that I still cannot access my child's school and that she cannot participate in after-school activities. There's going to be a rally at Tweed Courthouse on Thursday at 4 p.m. So I would invite you and any other parent who is concerned about the mental health of our children to attend, because we really need Mayor Adams to rescind his arbitrary and absolutely absurd and unscientific mandate, which now maintains that these kids can be in school, but at 3 o'clock simply can't do the same activities that they were allowed to do between 9 and 3.
All right. Thank you, Suko, for sharing that. All right. Craig Slutskin, I'm unmuting you. Welcome to CECD2.
Thanks, Ben. I just want to talk about Reso. I know you're not voting on it, but Reso 204, which I think is a very well written resolution. It's very comprehensive, and I think it's reiterating a lot of what the CEC has already voted on. We've lost a lot of students, and I know some people feel it's because of housing costs. In my school, or my son's school, PS 340, we've lost a number of students, and they're not leaving because of housing costs. They're leaving because they want G&T school, so they went to 11 or 33 or lower lab. They left because they're fearful of middle school or high school situation. So we've lost a number of students because of that. I think the time to act is now. These are, as I said, common sense solutions. They're doable, that the DOE can implement them. Many of these items they did promise last year, potential expansion of G&T, working on middle school and high school enrollment, potentially expanding the screens in high school. So I just want to note that I am fully in support of Reso 204. Many of the families that I've spoken to at my school and even at other schools are also very supportive of this, because it is addressing the elephant in the room of should I stay or should I leave New York City? So thank you.
Thank you, Craig. I'm not going to comment on resolution 204, but I do want to point out to our community that I've actually spoken with the superintendent and to a city council member that following the signing of the smaller class sizes, there is going to be some impact eventually on District 2 access to some of the traditional high schools that they've attended. And we don't know what the final impact will be, because there is no plan yet, and the governor has asked for one. But if enrollments are going to drop by 20%, we already have a shortfall of 200 students for ninth grade in our from District 2 ninth graders. We can expect to lose potential access of about 200 to 300 in specialized high schools and another few hundred in academic high schools. So we don't know what the plan is. So it's hard to say, but this will impact admissions, and we need a plan from both our District 2 superintendent, our high school superintendent, Gary Beetleman, and from Office of Enrollment, how to deal with where 1,000 students are going to be attending high school, given that smaller class sizes will cap classes to 25 students, especially in a lot of our high demand District 2 high schools. So that is not addressed in Resolution 204. And I'm hoping our council does address this issue. But I would like to, I see Nadia, your hand is raised, but Brian Johnson has not yet spoken. So I would like to provide access to Brian. Please unmute yourself, Brian Robinson, and welcome to CECD2.
Hi, thank you for having me. So to echo the concerns of the mother who just spoke a few minutes ago, I'm vaccinated. I thought it was the right thing to do. I got it early on. I had a horrible reaction. I have a lasting neuralgia because of the vaccine. I was in the emergency room, and my daughter, due to genetic inheritance concerns, was advised also not to get the vaccine. She's had COVID. The CDC has already stated that natural immunity is equivalent or better than vaccinated immunity. So what is the point of having an arbitrary vaccine mandate at this point where almost the entire city has had COVID? Children are very, very mildly affected, if not affected at all. In fact, a childhood hospitalization is twice as rare as getting struck by lightning. That's factual. You can look it up. So what are we doing? I know the rules are not set here. I know we have some dogmatic feelings about the vaccine. Oh, it's anti-science if you don't get the vaccine. No, it's not. Actually, the science is supporting the fact that the vaccine is not needed for somebody who's had COVID, and especially not needed even if they haven't had COVID, have had COVID, is a child, is not immunocompromised. So can we push this up to levels and make some noise to the extent that we're following the science like they said in the beginning we should be doing? Because we're not following the science. We're not even close to following the science. The policy and the science have forked off a long time ago. So do we have an agenda here? Do we have a plan? No?
Danielle just raised her hand. Maybe she can speak to that.
That'd be great.
I can just speak that we do have a resolution 205, which is asking for make sure that the DOE has consistent policies to make sure that children who now can practice their sports, but then they cannot compete if they don't have the COVID vaccine. They can attend school, but they are banned from after school activities. And, if you believe that the vaccine reduces transmission, which the CDC now doesn't say that, but if you have that belief, the COVID will continue spreading before 3 p.m. And so we do have a resolution, and, some of us are very committed to keep pushing this because Ben, you mentioned that you have not had nobody checked your card, but we have had parents who have been denied entries at their children's schools in District 2.
I know, but I'm talking about 333 7th Avenue. It's not a school.
Yeah, no, I know.
I'm not saying about schools.
Yeah, the
I've been
schools
checked
they
there
are
many
checking,
times.
and so we know that it is a problem for a number of families.
Thanks, Danielle.
All right, Nadia, you had your hand raised earlier. Anybody else? Tunisia, I haven't heard from you in a while. If there's anything you want to say.
Dinner is ready whenever you are.
All right. Well, if there's anybody else, I think Broshi is unmuted there. Oh, Councilmember Das, VP, please have your hand raised. Oh, you're not. Here you go. There you go. Sorry about that.
Sorry. Yeah, I also wanted to add, I actually wanted to, they sold themselves short. Admissions and Diversity Committee members, Nadia Levy and Craig Sutskin, as well as Hunter Dare, who wasn't here, I think. I just want to point out they're being understated, but they actually, I wanted to thank them. We'll do so again next week, but I want to thank them for giving me a lot of the words for the resolutions. They actually put a lot of work into it and made a lot of excellent suggestions and did a lot of the hard work and research and ties back to previous resolutions. Now that we have another week, we might refine it even a bit more, but I definitely want to thank them for their hard work. I also wanted to point out that add on to Nadia's comment that in addition to everything she said about dual language programs, we do also feel it's an important choice that we feel parents in our districts that should have, and it's a choice that I think is actually strangely lacking in this district compared to many of our nearby districts, including District 3, District 1, I believe, but there's other districts in Manhattan and outside our district and in other boroughs that with less resources, I think, have done more on the dual language front. So I do think it's something that that we're behind on as a district, which is not typical for our district, but we should rectify it to give the population that we have.
Thank you. I should have also mentioned that this is technically a zoning and capital planning committee meeting, and I should have recognized our co-chair, Councilmember Ling Fong Sim, or otherwise known as Councilmember Janey. So if you have any comments, you're the co-chair, so I'll yield. So all right, but I know you're eating, so sorry to put you on the spot there.
I'm eating.
All right. So are there any other concerns, questions, comments from our council members or our community? All right. So if that's the case, then
Hand raised again, Brian Robinson.
oh, did you want to?
Oh, no, sorry.
That's from before, right? Yeah. Okay.
I want to say though, I'm so glad that people did turn out tonight, and are sharing. It's a good sign that even though on our website it says canceled, and it was rather disappointing since those of us with really busy schedules, all of us, made time for this meeting tonight. So thank you to those of you who don't have to be here and are still here to listen, share your thoughts. And again, to the Admissions and Diversity Committee, thank you for all the time you put into these resolutions, because that's the point of, representing groups of people and schools, is getting your input, and it feels really good to have that. So I'm looking forward to our meeting whenever that, next week.
Yep.
Two comments. One, I also forgot to thank parent Stefan Lautner, who also helped with the dual language resolution. And since this is a zoning meeting, correct? Tunisia did have a question about the redistricting and Roosevelt Island. It's not a topic I know a lot about, but I had thought that Roosevelt Island went to Queens, I believe.
No, they're our district. Roosevelt.
They are, but are they under the new zoning?
Oh, that I don't know.
I
Tunisia, do
can
you have
answer
some?
that. I'm
Oh,
like
you can answer?
heavily involved in that on another front, not through the DOE. So there was a redistricting plan to take part of the Upper East Side from Sutton Place up to, I believe it was 79th Street, First Avenue, east of First Avenue, and Roosevelt Island, and put it in Queens. Okay. There was a hearing on it, or multiple hearings on it. It is now back with the committee, and I believe that they come back on September 22nd with their ideas. I know that this area, or Julie Mennon's council district, sent the most emails and was the most vocal of any around the city. So it was fought. It's still being fought behind the scenes, and we will see what happens.
What schools are affected, other than there is a school in Roosevelt Island that's, of course.
So Roosevelt Island, 183, 158, Yorkville East, and Elrow is in there.
And what about 6?
6 is on the west side. I mean, west, doesn't count. It's east of First.
Which actually fall under
Madison.
So that would be all the Rockefeller, Cornell, MSK
correct
faculty
and in fact,
that live up there.
In fact, they changed also part of it, that's in Keith Powers' district, that Hunter College would be, there's a bridge that connects to, part of the school. They split it in the middle of the bridge.
That's insane. Why did this come about? I'm just curious.
Numbers.
Numbers meaning what? Are districts too large?
Numbers meaning they need to balance the districts, and so this is how they chose to do it.
So would that include the Julia Richmond Educational Complex with Ella Baker and all those other?
No, because it's west of First.
So on either side of First Navy, you've got 183 and Ella Baker, and they would be in two different districts?
Correct. Not in community school district, but two different districts for city council.
Oh, so this is just city council. This
is
isn't
just for
about
city council.
educational.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but all the hospitals are being pulled out. So all the hospitals would be under city council for Queens.
Yeah. So, but when they were talking, they were also saying that the schools would be Queens schools. So all those PAs are freaking out because they would lose whatever money and things like that they had, and they would now have to try to get whatever Queens funding they had. So that was my question and my concern, is that those schools in that area that were District 2, that did have strong PAs, that did have whatever funding and backing and support, because there were a number of schools that spoke at those hearings that suddenly were going to lose everything that they had because they were going to now be part of Queens, and that included Roosevelt Island. So I'm wondering, like, have they reached out to you at all? Like, is there a way to support those schools? Because they did talk about the hospitals, and that's a big deal because, now they're gonna lose all of that. But my concern is about those schools and those children and what happens, because we're already talking about the fact that, we're having already this shortage of everything that's happening, but now we're losing these PAs, and these kids are now going to lose what they have. And they were already promised. One of the reasons why some of these kids went to Roosevelt Islands and these families went there is because they were promised that they were going to have District 2. They were going to be in District 2, and now they're going to lose that. And is there
No, they're not. They're still in District 2. They're still in Community School District 2. They're losing.
Are you sure? Because that's not what those PAs were
sure.
saying.
I am 100% sure. It's only changing the city council representative. So they would lose the money that, not moving forward, if it even happens. We don't know what's going to happen.
So why are all those PAs saying they're going to lose District 2 and they're not going to be in District 2 anymore?
I haven't heard that from any PA, to be honest.
Can you just check? Can you just check? Because those PAs, when they, in that hearing, like, I listened to however many hours that was, like, I listened in on those 4 or 5 or whatever hours that was, like, I listened, and they were like, we're gonna lose everything. And that was the promise of us moving to District 2.
Now, they're still in District 2. We're talking about City Council District 5. It's two totally separate issues. What they would lose is any funding that they got through, moving forward, being part of Julie Menon's district, and they would be part of Queens, which is not necessarily a good thing, because we would be 25%, or that area would be 25% of that city council district. But hopefully it will never happen. But they are not leaving District 2.
Isn't it weird, though, for a school to be, even if it happened, to Tanisha's point, isn't it weird for it to be a Queens school, but then a District 2 Manhattan school?
It's not a Queens school. Because it's located in the city council district for a Queens council member. Is it weird? Yeah, I never heard of it before.
I'm just saying.
If you look at the city charter, the city charter doesn't let you cross rivers. Like there are so many things wrong with the plan that hopefully they wake up and change it.
And that's why all of them were fighting and arguing. And that's why I'm saying all of those PAs, all of those schools were there. And that's what they were saying, that in the charter, it says that they can't do it. But all of those PAs were saying, you know, you made a promise that we could stay in District 2. I'm just asking if someone can reach out to them. And
I'll reach out to them. I mean, I've
and
spoken to some of them already. Not one of them mentioned it, but I'll reach out to them.
I just want, because my kids are nowhere near there. Like, you know,
Was there any school in particular that you recall thought that?
Hold on, let me see if I still have the video up.
Chanel, are we having a meeting with Julie Menon next week, or she's going to one of the District 2 schools?
Tomorrow.
Here it is. Hold on. Wait, I was listening to the Brooklyn one.
158.
Len, you're the liaison for that school. Will you be there? You're muted.
You know, unfortunately, I actually have an 8 o'clock in the morning mediation tomorrow. It's literally the only morning thing I've had the entire year, and it corresponds with her visit. So, no, unfortunately, I won't be able to make it. Yeah.
I could stop by 183 tomorrow.
No, she's gonna be 158.
I'll go through it again. I'll listen through it again, and I'll text like.
Can you email me? I'll give you my email.
And send you the.
If there's anything in particular there that I'd love to hear, you know, which PA or PTA it was.
Yeah, I'll listen through it again.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'll listen through it again. Cause it was like, cause the one let me see, this one is about 2 hours, so I'll listen through it again. It was long. They were long. There was like 3 parts.
1.5x speed, Tunisia.
What'd you say?
1.5x speed can be your friend.
Speed up the recording.
Oh,
thank you for bringing that up. I absolutely did not hear this, and you think you've heard everything in the last 2-3 years, and new curveball.
Well, it was also done in a time where it was difficult to, you know, really mobilize everybody that could have been mobilized had it been done not over the summer.
Yeah. I thought, Tunisia, you were going to speak about biology or
about living environment.
Yeah. But you and Ushma have done so much research. I wish, you know, we need a presentation to share, you know, any schools that don't have the
Kelly's
Regents
on
class in middle school, they can set up their own.
Yeah. Well,
are you talking about your school, Tunisia? Did you bring this up with him?
No, I was gonna talk to Ben. I was gonna talk to Ben, but I was talking to my principal. I was like, you need to get it together before I bring any, like, get it together and get some stuff together before I bring anything up, before I bring it. But like I was actually thinking about just in general, because right now we're doing programming in the school, and we're talking about transitioning year to year and sequencing. And it's been a conversation with different counselors. And I was actually thinking about Ushma, because I'm like, there's nothing being said in middle schools about sequencing. So so I don't know if everyone knows, but like, so Ben and Ushma and I, we all have our kids in a same middle school, and it just so happened that we were on the same, you know, frequency, that we wanted our kids to take these regents before they got to high school. And we were like, oh, you know, like, it would be great. And when we brought it to the principal, she was like, well, you know, we had thought about it in the past. It's kind of too late to put it together right now. Maybe that's something we can do in the future. And we were kind of like, okay, what can we do so our kids can get it now? And it would mean our kids would basically have to like take a college class outside of school.
Not a college class, but 108 hours. And it would have, and the principal was very much unwilling to allow us to do it either before school or after school. She wasn't even allowing us to poll the rest of the 8th grade parents. So believe me, I've got a fire in my belly about this one, but I think I have lost the battle for this year. It's just not going to happen for our 8th graders at that school. But Kelly is concerned about the fact that 8th graders across the district are not getting the same opportunities. And so I think that this is something that is on his agenda. I have certainly encouraged that conversation.
It's a bigger issue that, I also have a 9th grader, and she's experiencing where she's in class now where half the kids have taken that course already. And they have taken the Regents. So they're in this course and they all know the material already. So they're wasting their time.
Wait,
and now
they're in it again?
They're doing it again. And the teacher is going a lot faster. And she's having to play catch up to the kids who take. So it's not benefiting the kids who haven't taken it.
Yeah.
And it's not benefiting the kids who've taken it. So we need some clarity here. And
one further complicating thing is if you end up sending your kid to a fairly small non-science focused high school, or if that's where they get in, sometimes they don't have enough teachers or enough electives and ability to offer them an alternative to living environment, which is why some are either taking it for a second time, or they end up having an extra free period and it's not scheduled. So my 9th grader is at a very small but very science focused high school. So he does have an alternative, but there are many, many small high schools where they just don't even have that capacity. So I think we are peeling a bigger onion here than we anticipated, but this is something that I feel like elementary school parents should have known about as part of what their choices would end up being then and what the long-term repercussions were, because I certainly would not have made this choice if I had known this.
Yeah. Alexa, stop.
And
sorry.
I also
I agree.
The email chain that we were all on, I also wish that you made some great points about the impact in college and what does impact, what doesn't. I think that would be a wonderful discussion in the future.
Yeah, because they're like, in seeing it on my end, there is a difference, when like a kid comes in and they already have certain things. And we had this discussion when we met with the principal, and it was said like they can come in, if they come in with certain things, like if they come in and they already have math and they already have science, they can get advanced math and science classes that kind of close to them when they don't, which is a little unfair, because if they want to take certain things, like if I have a student that comes to my school that already has living environment, that means he can get like AP, like advanced APs, advanced AP bio, like maybe he can get AP bio, or he can get like advanced things that he couldn't get if he didn't come in with it. Like I had a kid that he wanted to take AP calculus, and if he didn't take algebra in middle school, he wouldn't necessarily be able to take AP calculus in my school, because he'd have to take all of those things prior to those 4 years. And it's just what it is. So there should be some kind of discussion or training or something that's offered to parents to talk to them before they choose. Not every parent is gonna go crazy making a spreadsheet looking at those things. They don't have the time or the energy.
But I would have. So I think.
I did. Yeah. I did. Like that's me, because I am an educator. I work in a school, and I saw for myself and said, this is what I do or don't want for my kid. And not everyone has that time or energy. It's not,
Thank you. I see we have some hands raised. I'll go first to Danielle, then we'll go to Jess, and Craig. Yes.
No, I just want to thank Ushma and Tunisia to raise this, because I think it's so important, this question, because if you look at every single child who is in a private school, they take the Regents way before high school. So, you know, high school, they can really focus on like getting ready for college and all of that. And so I do think it's very important that we also offer this in our public schools. And I want to offer, if we want to write a resolution about that, I would be very willing to work with you too on that, because I think it is very important. And I think it's a matter of like public school students also should have that right.
Jess, I'll unmute you. Just one moment. Sorry, having some mouse trouble here. Oh, did I unmute you? Did I lose her? Oh.
Thank you. I just wanted to confirm that there was a commitment to getting Spanish and ASL interpreters moving forward with these meetings. It seemed like that was possibly for the September meeting, but I just want to confirm that it's a commitment for the October and future meetings.
Yes. We had a Mandarin interpreter for this meeting. There was a request for Spanish and ASL that came a few days ago, so we couldn't arrange it for, and before we lost the calendar meeting. Chanel will look into seeing if we can get it for our scheduled next meeting for Wednesday.
Apparently, the famous one that
I don't know if that is a possibility, but we'll try. But definitely for October, we can plan ahead. And I know the ASL community extremely active and important. And we've had with one meeting, unfortunately, not more, but we've had an ASL interpreter. I'd love to have more of that. So, yeah. Craig, yes.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, I just quickly, I just want to echo what Daniela and echo what I think Ushma is advocating, which is supporting of academic tracking. I think that's very important. It's what we said in Reso 204. If a student is accelerated, then the student should be in an accelerated class. If a student is not accelerated and is behind and needs remedial, then we should be doing remedial work for that student. But I don't think that a student should be pigeonholed into 10th grade work, what is considered 10th grade work, for example, if that student is ready for 11th grade work. So I do want to appreciate that, note that I did appreciate the conversation that we just had, where people are saying students should be in the appropriate level, students should be in the appropriate program. So thank you, and I appreciate, and again, it's in Reso, we allude to that in Reso 204, and I look forward to that robust discussion next week or 2 weeks. I'm not sure, I don't remember when. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. Bushra, your hand.
That is absolutely categorically not what I said, nor what I mean. And what I mean is that every student should be getting the living environment coursework in 8th grade. Baruch did this last year. I believe Wagner did this last year. They did away with tracking, and all students got the living environment curriculum. Kelly believes in this as well. So please do not infer from what I said that I believe in tracking. What I believe in is that all students should have the opportunity to take this Regents.
All right, thank you, Ushma. Councilmember Das, RVP. Please unmute.
Okay, not to be snarky, and I acknowledge the distinction, but it seemed like part of the issue there was the kids were repeating coursework. So I got to ask, what's the difference between that and a student that goes to, let's say, that graduates from, let's say, lower lab, that has taken math a year ahead and is now placed into a lottery middle school? You said you wouldn't have chosen that school. You actually had the benefit of choosing that school for your 8th grader. Current 6th graders and 7th grade parents didn't have that benefit. They got to put in a list, but it was lottery. What is the difference between that and a 6th grader who graduates from lab with a year ahead math and now goes to a middle school not of their choosing and is repeating math? How is that different?
Well, let me shed some light, because I kind of brought it up where we're experiencing right now with my middle daughter. middle-aged daughter, my middle daughter. When you're an 8th grader taking a Regents level course, you don't have to take the Regents. Like if your 8th grade algebra class that you're in, you may be ready for it, but you don't have to take it. There's no requirement. So then you could be repeating it in 9th grade. So what you're having in some of these high schools, I did not know this. What you're having is you're having kids repeating with kids that are taking it completely new.
How is that different from my example then? I mean, that's in my example, you have kids who are taking math again for this that they've done before with kids who haven't taken this math. And I understand the technical difference. I understand that Rich was lobbying for Regents for all. I get that, but her premise started with my son was having to take the same course, was starting to take the same material over again, and they're wasting time and not learning new material. Isn't that the same for a student who's come out of lower lab and is, and it happened to Hunter's kid, I believe, coming out of lower lab and is basically repeating math at a school that doesn't cater to that child's need? I get the circumstances are different, but the issue started with repeating coursework. Are they not repeating coursework? Why is it okay in one case and not another?
We're not talking about repeating coursework. We're talking about not having the opportunity to even take the course, such that then in high school, you have choice. In most high schools, you get a choice around what kind of courses the students are enrolled in. That's the point that I'm making.
I get that.
I actually have to go.
I get that as an additional aspect, but you literally started with my kid is repeating work. That's literally how you started it.
No, I didn't actually, and I'm happy that this was recorded because my son is not repeating any of that. I'm saying that there are students in small high schools that either would have to or would have to have an empty period. My son is at a small science-based high school that has more options, so he does not actually have to take it again. My daughter, who is in 8th grade, and when my daughter was going into 8th grade, we did have choice. I'm not debating the fact that now that there is lottery and people don't have as much choice, etc. My daughter, who is now in 8th grade, when the system was set up that way, if I had known, I would have made a different choice. Right now, what I am advocating for is that everybody have living environment such that they have that opportunity to take a Regents and then skip that class in high school if they choose to take the Regents. I needed to go 10 minutes ago. I got sucked into this because clearly you see that I feel very passionately about this. It's not the end of it. We'll keep talking.
Thank you, Ushma. Tunisia, you had your hand raised. Did you want to add to that? Oh, I have to unmute you, so sorry.
Yeah, so no, it's all about the fact that in every middle school throughout the city, Manhattan, Bronx, Queens, Staten Island, kids are not being given the choice to take it, are not being given the choice to take these Regents. So what's happening is that they're operating at a deficit. So when they go to high school, and it's something that I had brought up previously, and then Ushma was kind of brought in later on into this, because I brought it up because I work in a high school, and I said, hey, I work in a high school, and it just so happens I'm at a school that my students can take advanced math, they can take advanced science, but I know for a fact that there are schools that they don't have, let's say, teachers who can teach physics or teachers who can teach certain things. I want my son to be able to take the living environment Regents. I know that he's at a middle school that they don't offer it. So I brought it up at a meeting. She said, we'll talk about it at a different time. A parent asked me about it, brought Ushma and Ben into the conversation. And then we're like, we're going to meet with the principal about it. And she was saying, and so they were saying, hey, is there a possibility? We all had the conversation because I don't want my son to operate at a deficit. I want my son to go in with living environment. I want my son to go in with algebra. So that way, when he gets to whatever high school he gets to, he has the chance to have the, higher math, higher science. The conversation's not about what you mentioned. The conversation is about giving every kid a chance to have those regions, giving every kid a chance. So if a kid is not at my high school, if a kid's like at the high school that I used to work at, we didn't have advanced math and science because we couldn't find a teacher to teach chemistry. We, you know, like maybe we'd get a chemistry teacher and then they'd go because they didn't want to work in Bushwick. So maybe we couldn't keep a teacher to teach advanced math or advanced science for very long, which is an issue. We have a shortage of advanced science teachers in New York City. So that's the conversation that we're having. That's the real conversation. How do we get all of our kids to be able to take, you know, living environment and math in middle school? That's the real conversation.
Mm-hmm. I understand the distinction, and you don't have to sell me on the merits of all schools having all schools having Regent science, and in particular, I know which school you're talking about. Let's call a spade a spade. Salk School of Science should have Regents in science, absolutely. You don't have to sell me on the merits of that. The point is still also kids who are also there are kids who have differing abilities in math, and which regents they take and when they take their regents also does impact when and what APs they take in high school, and how far they can get, and how far they can start, and what courses does it work they start in math in college. I understand some technical differences there, but at the end of the day, to me, it is the same issue, and I don't know.
There's
at the end of the day,
she's not here, so we can drop it. But you don't have to tell me the merits of it.
But remember, at the end of the day, in order to graduate from high school, every kid must take and pass Regents, regardless of ability. Every kid. So whether they have an IEP or 504, they must take and pass it. So if they don't, it's because they're in D75. That's the long and the short of it. So if they cannot do it for some reason, like they don't have to do it in middle school. They can say, I'm not going to do it now. The parents can say, you know, we're opting not to do it now because of whatever reason. And then they can do it in high school. But by the time you get to the end of your senior year, you must have your 5 Regents in order to graduate, whether it be in art, foreign language, but you must have an English, a math, a science, and a history. That's just how it is. So whether you start it in middle school or you do it all in high school, you have to do it. So if parents are saying they want some of it done, you know, if you want your kid to have an IB diploma, you know, most schools with IBs like Clinton, they make them do it in middle school. Why not give every kid the chance to do it? Every black, brown, white, yellow, every kid get the chance to do it in middle school, and just make it fair. You know, that's the fight.
We have to continue this conversation with our superintendent, and both Superintendent Kelly McGuire and the new high school superintendent Gary Buneman, because this is important, because you have too many starting lines, and kids not getting access when they should. Well, thank you, though. And, this became a much more interesting committee meeting than I thought it would be. Just besides talking about scheduling and dates. So thank you for bringing, talking about this. And I understand, Kush, your point too. There's nuance, but we all want to elevate kids. So that bottom line, it's all good.
I understand, Kush.
I don't want to hold back any kids who are ready for more.
Yeah, it's all good. Well, thank you, everybody. And I think we actually should have more committee meetings where we have more discussion as a community. I just think so much more can be accomplished that way.
It's so much nicer hearing other people's voices than just their own. You say that, like Tunisia, Craig. Brian, Jess, thank you, Nadia, thank you for talking, because we get so sick of our own voices.
Yeah. And I know when Robin wants to shut me up, thank you for just kidding. All right.
As secretary.
All right. But so I want to wish everyone a good evening and a good start of the year to everybody. And we'll hopefully you'll see us all. Please come. Well, we'll see if we can get some maybe with our $3 per person allotment to spend on water and other goodies next Wednesday.
Get a giant box of wine.
Yeah. Just
Thank you, everybody.
333 7th Avenue. I don't think they allow us that, but well, I'm sure there's someone who will sneak it in.
They do have that fridge.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a good
Good night.
evening. Good night.